Meet our protagonist. He is an exceptionally brilliant mechanic. Hand him a broken machine, and he can diagnose and fix it almost instantly. But he has a fatal professional flaw. When he finishes a repair, he quietly removes a key screw or two, practically guaranteeing the machine will break down again in a few days. Every stolen screw and fraudulent bill serves a single, expensive purpose: securing a daily bottle of third-class rum. To him, human relationships and professional trust are just other types of mechanisms, things to manipulate for a quick payout. It's a mindset that rapidly drains his moral account. Eventually, the local community catches on. His customers vanish, leaving him isolated and burdened by a crushing personal debt of 1,500 rupees. This animated ledger outlines his grand solution. He's convinced that exactly 50,000 rupees will solve every problem. The chart breaks down his idealistic allocation: 20,000 for his wife, 15,000 for his widowed sister, and the remainder split between creditors and higher quality liquor. Since his petty mechanic scams are no longer viable, he reaches a grim conclusion. The only way to get this exact sum is to commit a high-stakes robbery. He has fallen into a bizarre logic trap. He genuinely believes that a massive, calculated crime will somehow cancel out the dozens of smaller moral failings he has accumulated over the years. His first target is a wealthy Parsi widow. Bypassing the security guards downstairs, he scales a pipe to reach her second-story apartment in the dead of night. He approaches a heavy safe like this one. Despite having zero experience as a safecracker, he applies his mechanical intuition and picks the lock with a simple piece of wire, bagging thousands of rupees in jewelry. But then the widow walks in. Instead of showing fear at the sight of an armed intruder, the elderly woman greets him with a toothless smile, appearing completely unfazed. She traps him with a highly unconventional threat. She won't call the police to report a robbery. She will only call them if he tries to leave. She demands his affection in exchange for his freedom. The thief finds himself paralyzed. The physical security didn't stop him, but a victim who refuses to play the expected role breaks all his logic. Terrified, he begs for mercy, leaves the jewels behind, and escapes. He tries again a few nights later, breaking into the home of a wealthy bachelor. After ransacking the house and finding absolutely no cash, he wakes the sleeping owner at gunpoint. The bachelor greets the intruder with a handshake, delighted to finally meet a man who admits to being a thief in a city of hypocrites. The bachelor then casually explains that he avoids banks and standard safes, preferring to hide his fortune where no one would ever think to look. He walks over to a kitchen appliance, opens it up, and reveals bundles of cash sitting right next to the groceries. He pulls out a stack of 10,000 rupees and freely offers it to the thief. Stunned, the protagonist cannot accept the money. He hands the cash back to the bachelor, apologizes for the intrusion, and flees the apartment. This lack of friction leaves him deeply unsettled. Without a victim to overcome or a lock to defeat, the act of taking the money feels less like a heist and more like charity, a dynamic his mechanical mind simply cannot reconcile. Completely defeated by his own bizarre encounters, he reaches rock bottom. Concluding he is a failure even at petty crime, he resolves to sleep and end his life the next day. But as he settles in, there's a knock. An older gentleman stands outside, hands him a heavy, unmarked envelope, and promptly leaves. Tearing it open, he finds a short note and a thick stack of 100-rupee notes. It totals exactly 50,000 rupees. The note explains it is the long-delayed repayment of a loan he had completely forgotten he ever gave out. The math he's been obsessing over has finally balanced itself. For the first time in weeks, his moral ledger is clear, and he hasn't had to lift a finger to fix it. Overjoyed, he quickly recalculates his perfect life. He slides the thick envelope of cash safely under his pillow, finally allowing himself to dream of a peaceful, debt-free future. A moment later, another knock echoes through the room. This time it's a minor creditor, simply asking for a small payment of 500 rupees. Eager to clear a debt, he reaches under his pillow to grab a few notes. His hand hits the mattress. The envelope is entirely gone. Someone had slipped in and stolen it while he was distracted. The mechanic who spent his career shortchanging the world by stealing parts and rigging machines had finally been shortchanged by the universe itself.